In this video, I'm demonstrating how Jane, an event sequence analyst, explored the Foursquare dataset using MAQUI. Each event in the dataset represents a check-in at a place. An event has two attributes, venue and city. An event sequence is a sequence of check-ins of a person within a day. It has a record attribute called cities visited. It tells us whether the person visited New York City, Tokyo, or both cities in a day. Jane is interested in comparing the routines of the people in Tokyo and the people in New York City. She creates two panels in the workspace. For the first panel, she specifies the New York City only filter and filters out the event sequences with less than 5 events. She also specifies the Tokyo only filter and filters out the event sequences with less than 5 events for the second panel. Clicking on the sequences in the Tokyo panel to make them the focus, she only finds one frequent pattern. To extract more frequent patterns, she lowers the minimum support to 15%. She's amused to see that 15.6% of the people in Tokyo checked in 6 times at a train station. She adds all the events in the pattern to split the sequences in the Tokyo panel. She wonders whether the pattern is common for the people in New York City. She adds the same pattern to the New York City panel. Jane encodes the number of event sequences that contain a train station event as the height of a node. As you can see, people in New York City don't check in as often in train stations. Jane wants to know whether focusing on the sequences that span more than 18 hours will give a more realistic depiction of the daily routine of the two groups of people. She opens two panels and filters out the sequences that span less than 18 hours. As she selects the sequences in the New York City panel as the focus, she notices that 31.9% of the people checked in at their home from the attribute value pair view. She uses this event attribute to split the focus. By selecting the segments after the home milestone event as the focus, she finds that 44.7% of the people checked in at their home again. She inserts another home event after the first one. Jane believes that the 119 people checked in both when they leave home and when they go back from work. 10.2 hours probably reflect these people's working hours. She wonders what is the average duration between two home events in the Tokyo panel, so she inserts the two events to the panel. The average duration between the two home events is 15.8 hours. She's thinking whether it reflects the long working hours in Japan. Finally, Jane wants to know whether there's any common pattern of a typical day in New York City and Tokyo. Many people start their days by commuting to somewhere else and end their days by commuting back home. She wonders if people do similar things in between. Using the advanced mode, she creates the leaving home pattern. This pattern has a home event followed by a subway or bus station event. Similarly, she creates the going back home pattern. It has a bus station or subway event followed by a home event. Jane finds that only 34 sequences have a leaving home pattern followed by a going back home pattern. She selects the segments in between and cannot find any frequent patterns with a support above 15%. This indicates that these 34 people do not share many commonalities in the things they do between leaving home and going back. She lowers the support and finds a pattern with two movie theater events. Jane splits the focus using this pattern to find what happens before and after this pattern.